So yesterday was the first time I'd ever run a 5K in a rucking division. Years and years ago, I have a lot of background with doing regular road races, even snowshoe racing, but never combining these two things. And it's nice to see rucking getting a bit more popular where that is a division with a lot of your races around town. So gave it a little bit of training ahead of time because I didn't know what the competition was going to be like, how people were going to do it. And ended up finishing fourth in division with a 5K time of 37:29. And this was a kind of a charity memorial event, so probably not as like official a ruck race as it could be because the rucksack weight was a 38-pound minimum, but there were no weigh stations, so there wasn't really holding people accountable to that. And not for nothing, but the first place finisher was a 12-year-old girl who I saw running with a JanSport, so if I had to guess, was probably not at 38 pounds, but okay, hey, it was for fun anyway. But overall, for being almost 40, still holding up all right. I think the training was okay. Definitely did not stick to my plan, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. Okay, gear-wise, what I wore for the event from the top down. One is the GoRuck hat. That's their performance tack hat, which is nice and light and dries, and it does hat stuff really well. Next being sunglasses. These are from a company called Fuse out of Florida. And these are basically Oakley Holbrooks, but they're about a third the price. They actually have metal hardware at the hinges. They have color enhancing lenses. And if you smash this whole thing, you can get the entire thing replaced for free. There's kind of no reason to be spending a whole lot of money on sunglasses. Out in the desert like this, I do like the slightly browner tone. It kind of helps with the contrast and identify the terrain in front of you. As far as the ruck goes, it was the 20-liter Rucker, and that is about the size and length that I think is appropriate here because we're talking about a race. We're not talking about a challenge where this is going to be high loads, long duration, all kinds of stuff. So the hip belt basically stayed back here with the carabiners. That small length kind of kept everything up nice and high as I went. All I used was the sternum strap and didn't even really use the ruck loops very much because you want some specific arm swing when you're really hauling for time. This just had the 30-pound plate, and then the source bladder was how I got up to 40 pounds. I wanted to leave a little wiggle room so I wasn't cheating. So this about not quite 3/4 of the way full got me to about 40.6. This and the plate and the bag itself. And then what I ran with was the GoRuck FP1. Their fanny pack. It's their tactical fanny pack. So this was kind of like a test run. I've been training with it, and then I want to run this race with it because this is what I think I'm going to use during the rebranded Star Course, what they're calling the City Ruck now. Something that's going to hold the navigation, spare batteries, all that stuff in here, because I'm going to be doing that City Ruck solo. So this, when I bought it, was the only size available. This was their small. They have a small and a large as far as I'm aware, and this was the only color that you could get. So 210D on the back, just like the Rucker, 500D Cordura body, which is actually pretty nice. They are making them in the ripstop nylon, but if you get this for $5 more, let's go with that. This has about 3 pockets in it. The big kind of open cargo dump area, and then where you see that red is a little bit harder to make out, but kind of like their field pockets. They have a little mesh area. This has a little bit of depth to it. That's primarily where the phone and the wallet and the keys and all that go. And then that third pocket up above it is very narrow, lined with that buffalo fuzz, they call it. This is marketed as kind of like a concealed carry type fanny pack. Not a big advocate of that mode of carry. That would be a whole separate thing, so I wasn't gonna use it for that purpose. And it is, especially on your body, way too damn small for reliably getting that in there. And if you want to take life-saving equipment and add several other steps and have to fight through and use it, I guess it could work well for that purpose. I just needed a fanny pack. This one's built well, so it was good to go. Other thing that I was looking to find out running this race is, all right, with phone and battery and stuff, is this basically going to be high-fiving my nuts every time that I step? And happy to report it does not. It stays right in place. So this has been a good buy so far. far as shirt and running shorts goes, there's nothing special there, just whatever I had laying around. Footwear though, and this is where every single rucking forum that you find, no matter what, is what do I wear? Boots versus shoes versus trail shoes versus whatever. So I am used to boots. I was in the military. That's how I did everything. Everyone will say, oh, that is exactly how I got all of these issues. Okay, maybe. The boots really did suck back in the day. But I use Garmont T8 NFSs. These are the light speed ones. And yeah, this is what I did all my training with. This is what I have done every single GoRuck challenge with. And I have been very, very happy with the results. So basically a running shoe kind of weight midsole right here. They do have, because of these eyelets, a very strong ability to keep that heel locked right in, which is an issue that I have. I have very low volume feet, so that heel ends up just kind of flopping around in there like a clown shoe. My Mac V1 experience from GoRuck was horrible. I've tried every size known to man, bigger, smaller, tried one sock, multiple pairs of socks. My feet do not fit those things. These have been the best for me. And the flat laces, they stay in place. The weight is awesome. Like I said, I ran in there, did not feel like I was wearing boat anchors. Durability wise, because of that lighter weight sole, it's not a Vibram sole, they are gonna wear down a lot faster with weight and pavement, just like a running shoe is gonna anyway. And then the other thing is they don't dry particularly fast. They look like they would, they don't. But I'm not going to the field anymore. This is just for kind of PT and this kind of stuff. These work great. Paired those with the Darn Tough over the calf midweight tactical socks. The Darn Toughs have been a mainstay for work and everything else for me for years. They are awesome. I have zero hot spots or blisters because I also broke these in really, really well. And for folks who have not had a lot of experience in doing that with more of a military boot, there's a YouTuber by the name of The Gritty Soldier that talks exactly how to break in this pair of boots. And I gave it a shot and it worked out pretty well. But you also break in the socks as part of that process. And it seems maybe a little bit overkill, but nothing's gonna be a showstopper faster than jacked up feet. So between the Darn Tough socks, I run no inserts other than the stock ones in here. No issues, no foot and ankle issues, skin's all good. How I trained for the event, it was a little bit less specific to the rucking and running. What I have done is I take 4 days out of the week and I do a kettlebell training program. Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica has been the best resource that I've found for not only just the technical aspects of using kettlebells, but the programming part and, kind of smart ideas to apply that towards longevity. The biggest benefit from that I have found, because I've tried many, many different things over the years, is that just your general physical preparedness, and people will call that GPP, is a really strong baseline. And that's, I think, where you really see the value of the kettlebells, is getting just your baseline function and strength and ability to do stuff up to a certain level. After that, you can just add your specific sport training. So I just stuck with my regular kettlebells. I took Saturdays and made that, whatever event that I'm training for, kind of training days. So started out with just the baseline weight and just get the distances and see, all right, what is my time here? Then I started to work with a little bit more weight, a little bit more distance. So for a 5K, I was training at 3.75 miles as opposed to the 3.2. So a little bit more, and then I added the 45-pound plate with the water. By the end, it was about 53 pounds total. And then I was doing just interval training. I have a very nice path where every 1/10 of a mile is just marked out clearly. So I would just walk one, shuffle one, walk one, shuffle one, just to kind of get that cardio up there. The plan was to basically do that same exact thing for this 5K. And then it was a great plan because I wasn't looking to run the whole thing and just pulverize those knees, because that was not how I trained. As soon as they said go, that plan went completely out the water and I just ran myself to death. So that's me. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's your knees and how long you're gonna have those in good shape. So as far as changes that I would make to training based off of this, would be maybe lighter weight, elongate those intervals, and really get the cardio in with this ruck shuffle form. So I didn't want to make my running form like it would a regular running race, because as you run, that is the only time in the human gait cycle where both limbs are completely off the ground momentarily. So that shock coming down then is just something you can't avoid. You can make it a little bit better by doing what Jason McCarthy talks about in that ruck shuffle, where you kind of get the weight on, you have a little bit of a forward lean, and then you're basically picking up those feet just enough to clear the ground and get them right back down. Short little shuffle steps, maybe like a mid-foot strike, that just happen very, very quickly. So you're just kind of scooting along as opposed to getting the elongated steps and really getting that pounding in there. It's the best way to mitigate it. You're still not going to eliminate it. So training with that shuffle would have been the smarter way to go. Make those intervals longer. So yeah, that would have been the smart way. That's not how I did it though. It worked out okay. So post-event recovery, as somebody who is stone's throw away from turning 40, ice. I iced the knees, ended up with some medial knee pain bilaterally, probably because, you know, those hips got a little bit weak and you had a little bit of dynamic valgus in those knees and things just kind of got a little bit beat up. So a little bit of ice, a little bit of ibuprofen, and if you've been in the military, you know, for more than 5 seconds, coffee, ibuprofen, or water are just a regular part of your diet anyway. But a little bit of ibuprofen, and then something that I've been doing more of in the last few months is incorporating yoga into the weekly routine. And what I have noticed there is that the joint mobility, even though it's been 1 day a week, is better. And with more joint mobility, especially for doing things like this, those structures are better able to kind of support you. And I think it really does help your recovery to get back in and do the thing. Especially the more time you got on this planet, the longer that warm up, cool down, and recovery just needs to take just to pay it back into your body. So to sum up, the race ruck format, that worked out pretty dang well. The FP1 is a buy, not gonna be a fashion item or travel or anything like that, but I think for those city ruck races like this, it's gonna be good. I do see photos of people using them for actual GoRuck challenge events. Not sure what I would actually use that for in that format, what I would put in there that wouldn't get smashed from a low crawl, but it's not a bad option. Hey, 500 D Cordura, lifetime guarantee, stays in place. That one worked out really well. And then the boots being, these are my go-tos. If they ever stop making them, I'm getting on Amazon and buying every pair that I can. Like, once you find that one good pair of boots, you don't want to change that shit. So those have been good. Get some Fused sunglasses, stop paying Luxottica, they're awful. And then that was about it. It was a fun 5K, took a shot, didn't do too bad. All right, maybe next year. So that'll be all from me and Jasper today. Have a good one, guys.